I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good morning, Montgomery Lower School, our first lower school chapel of the year. Hopefully you're catching on to our schedule. We will be having lower school chapel every other week, aligned with middle school. So every week there will be a lower school or middle school chapel, followed by every week being a Friday all school chapel. So welcome, lower school. A few reminders before I introduce today's speaker. We did have a gathering drop off this morning, and just a couple of things I'm noticing that would speed this along. If we could ask for everyone's cooperation with this. When you have your online screening form, parents are doing a great job with this. Don't forget to take a screenshot of your clearance saying that your child is all cleared to be on campus. You just show that to the staff person coming to your car to take the temperature, and it does move things along very quickly when we have that. Also, make sure your child has their backpack on, their mask on, ready to jump out of the car. We want to be as efficient as possible because we know parents have to get to work, and we want to get the kids onto campus as quickly as we can. So we're going to be practicing that, the efficiency of our car line during these next few gathering dates that we have before we come back on the 9th. So quick reminder about conferences. Parent-teacher conferences take place October 7th and 8th. The online pick a time form, you need to go online to schedule your conferences, so please do that if you haven't already done so. October 9th, we will greet the lower school back on campus from 9 to 11:30. We're excited for that, and again, ask for your patience as we're practicing procedural type things along with arriving and dismissal, just how students direct themselves while they're on campus. So we're looking forward to seeing the entire lower school here on the 9th. A reminder for those who are remote, we are not having remote classes on that day. October 12th, that Monday, we will start in full force with all students on campus, and we couldn't be happier about the students returning to us all together. We are ready and we are excited. So thank you for parents, just for all your help and support. The teachers have done a fabulous job, and I know you agree with me full-heartedly on that. So have a great day, lower school, and I'd like to introduce Katie Sillup. Mrs. Sillup is not a stranger to anyone on campus. We love Mrs. Sillup. Her work in admissions really helps to motivate, I think, people to come to Montgomery. She is definitely a face of Montgomery School that people meet when they come here to learn more about our school. And we just love Mrs. Sillup so much and are so grateful for her taking on the first lower school chapel of the year. So take it away, Mrs. Sillup.
Good morning, Montgomery School. My name is Mrs. Sillup, and I will be presenting today's chapel. As many returning and new students know, I often say to help you remember my name, you can think of me as Mrs. Silly. My daughter, Isla, in second grade would definitely tell you I can be super silly. I might not be being super silly right now, but I feel silly because I'm not in Bell Hall, and you guys aren't sitting in front of me with your smiling faces. I'm at home presenting because I actually had a cold, and I'm practicing social distancing. And instead of being in Bell Hall with you in front of me, I'm doing it on a recording. So this is an exciting new way of communicating. I work as admission and development associate at Montgomery School. And I want to tell you a little bit about that because it is what helped me to get to this chapel topic today, communicating with a mask. I work as the admission and development associate. So in admissions, I work closely with Mr. Coco. We do tours and we help wonderful families like yours get to Montgomery School. And then in development, I work with Ms. Coy, who raises money for the school. And I work with the Montgomery School Community Association, the volunteers who put awesome and fun activities in place for you. So Mrs. Murata asked if I'd do one of the first chapels, and she was so happy that I said yes, but I was so happy she asked because I worked through a dilemma all summer long, and I'm here to share it with you and share what I've learned with you. It all started in the end of June, July. I had been working at home, but at the end of June, beginning of July, I was able to come back to campus. My daughter Isla went to camp, outdoor camp, and I thought to myself, oh, everything's normal again. Great. This is all business as usual until my very first tour. No, it wasn't my very first tour. It was my very first tour with a mask. So this is how it went down. I said this lovely family comes to the farmhouse. They have their daughter with them. And immediately I go to my go-tos. Smile. Make them feel friendly. Let them know I'm friendly. I forgot. They can't see it. I have a mask on. And then I went to handshake. I can't do that either. We're social distancing. Of course, I was going to do the fist pump with the little girl and a little octopus to make her feel comfortable. None of my normal go-tos work. As the tour continued, the little girl actually got sad and probably had a frown underneath her mask that I couldn't see. She wanted to play on the playground, and I couldn't even hear her speak through her mask to tell her mom that she was sad that she couldn't go on the playground. So I quickly realized there were all these communication breakdowns, and I realized I needed to change the way I was communicating and the way I was picking up on communication from others because things changed. Things got a little bit more difficult when wearing a mask. So let's get into it. One of the biggest reasons that communicating got harder for me was right here. Couldn't say it better.
Oh,
Why are you smiling like that?
I just like to smile. Smiling's my favorite.
Make work your favorite. That's your favorite, okay?
Okay.
Work is your new favorite.
Fine.
So I feel like wearing a mask, I made a hypothesis. I said, when I wear a mask, people aren't going to understand me as well. And when people wear a mask, I'm not going to be able to understand them as well. That was my hypothesis to a little experiment I did, which we're going to get into. Came back onto campus and was fully expecting, I'm used to this. We're all used to seeing faces. Since we were born, we have inadvertently been taught how to read that face. He looks puzzled. You can tell that this little boy looks frustrated just by looking at their expression. And many of you have come back to campus for the gatherings, and you may have experienced that instead of this and returning to campus, we're going to be returning to campus with this. It looks different. But the good news is, through this experiment I did, a very scientific experiment that we're going to go through over the next 5 minutes, I realized that there are more ways to communicate than just your face. And you know what I used? I used my dog Pumpkin. I love dogs. And I said to Pumpkin the one night, I said, how do I understand what you're thinking and feeling? You can't smile. Can we all agree dogs can't smile? I know this for a fact. When Pumpkin was a puppy, I actually fell on him and broke his leg. And his face was like this. When he's excited to get a toy, his face is like this. His face never changes. So I said, Pumpkin, if I can understand how you're feeling, maybe I should study that. And then I can figure out how to communicate better. And I can figure out how to understand others better. At Montgomery School, we've got our cornerstone values: truth, loyalty, and compassion, veritas, pietas, and caritas. And understanding how people are communicating and what they mean in their communication speaks to truth. And then also, we want to help each other. We want to help our teachers to understand us better. We want to help our friends to understand how we're feeling. So today, let's figure out how to communicate better with a mask. That's what we're going to talk about. And we're going to do that by studying Pumpkin. Case study number 1. Let's look at this picture of Pumpkin and see how he's communicating. I'm going to move my picture because something important comes over here. Okay, let's put me here. His ears are up. He's sitting super upright, and he's looking at me. I'm taking this picture directly in the eyes. So what can we learn from him? Finally, he's going, bark, bark. He's barking at me very loud. To me, and I put this over here, he looks ready. And Pumpkin is part dog, part pig. He loves to eat. So at this point in the day, it was about 5 o'clock, he was communicating to me with his body, with his eyes, and with his voice. I want to eat. That's what he was saying. He didn't smile. He didn't frown. He spoke to me in all these other ways. So just from that picture, I feel like we can take a few lessons from Pumpkin. First of all, every time you put on your mask, we should be thinking about the fact to communicate kindly to our teachers, we need to speak louder. We need to speak louder so it gets through that barrier, that mask. We also might need to realize that that frown or that look of confusion or frustration might not be getting through. So we might have to put words to our feelings. Hey, Mrs. Collins, I'm feeling confused. I'm feeling happy. I just did great on my quiz. You can add voice to those feelings. And also, if any of you have ever seen the Emoji Movie, you should know what inflection is. The Math family talks like this, and they don't use any expression. So inflection is using your voice and changing it to convey emotion. So the last thing that Pumpkin taught us in that photo is that you really, more than ever, need to make eye contact with the person you're speaking with. It's always important, but when you're wearing a mask, it's even more important. So we're going to think about when we put on our mask, we're going to talk louder. We might have to speak more to our emotions. Like, I'm feeling sad. I just tripped. We also want to use inflection in our voice to explain how we're feeling. And we also want to use eye contact with the person we're speaking with. Do you want to take a few more looks at Pumpkin and some pictures? So do I. Okay, case study number 2. Here's Pumpkin. Let's look at him. He's got his ears up again, but his body is definitely looking lazy, I would say. How do you think Pumpkin's feeling? Again, no smile on his face, no frown. I think he's feeling sleepy or lazy. All right, let's keep going. One more of Pumpkin. Do you notice anything about Pumpkin in this picture? I noticed that his ears are back. And to me, it looks like he was probably just being naughty. Yep, or he's sad. So Pumpkin is using his ears and his body language to communicate. And we can do that too. We don't have ears like pumpkins, but we have our hands. We can do thumbs up. We can give an air hug. We can say, oh, hi across campus. We also can make sure that we're using our posture to communicate to our teachers. Does it look like I'm paying attention right now? No. So we can think about all these other ways to communicate. And in order to communicate with others, and in order for us to understand what other people are saying, we really need to look. We need to look at things outside of just a smile. So as you return to campus, please think about 3 things. Hold up your fingers. Voice. We need to use our voice more. We need it louder. 2, body language. We can use our hands to communicate. And eyes. We need to be looking out for new things, not just smiles.